Imagine this. It's past midnight. The house is quiet, but your mind is louder than it's been all day. You're lying in bed, scrolling. Advice, motivation, productivity hacks, spiritual quotes. Do this. Stop doing that. Become your highest self. Heal your inner child. Rewrite your beliefs. Let go. Take action. Surrender. Manifest. You save a few posts. Send one to a friend. Promise yourself you'll try that new routine tomorrow. But as the blue light flickers across your face, there's a strange realization settling in your chest. You are drowning in wisdom and starving for peace. Your mind feels like a cluttered room. Not one clean surface. Piles of unfinished books. Half-remembered TED Talks. Fragments of podcasts. Old arguments replaying. Future disasters rehearsing. The more you try to organize it, the worse it seems to get. You're not ignorant. You know a lot. You've tried a lot. You're even a little proud of how much you've explored. But beneath it all, there's a quiet, painful question. If I know so much, why do I still feel like this? You turn your phone off and stare into the dark. Thoughts keep flooding in, uninvited. Things you said years ago. Things you might say tomorrow. What they think. What you think about what they think. Entire conversations that never happened, but you've already rehearsed them 5 times. Your mind is full, but you are empty. And somewhere, beneath the noise, a different kind of question whispers. What if the problem isn't what you're missing, but what you refuse to let go of? There's an old story about a student who traveled days to meet a wise teacher. The student was desperate. Like you, they had collected teachings, books, methods. They were exhausted from trying to fix themselves. When they finally sat down across from the teacher, they started talking about their trauma, their goals, their spiritual practices, their failures, their hopes, their fears, their complicated theories about why they were the way they were. The teacher just nodded quietly and began to pour tea. The student kept talking. The teacher kept pouring. The cup filled, then reached the brim, then began to overflow. Tea spilled onto the saucer, then over the table, then onto the floor. "Stop!" the student shouted. "Can't you see the cup is full?" The teacher looked at the overflowing cup, then at the student. "Exactly," they said. "You are like this cup. How can I offer you anything when you are already full?" You probably know some version of that story. Maybe you've heard it before, nodded, thought, "So true," and moved on. But tonight, it feels different. Because the full cup isn't just about information. It's about everything you insist on carrying in your head all at once. Old grudges you replay to keep yourself safe. Imagined failures you rehearse so you won't be surprised. Self-criticism you cling to, as if being cruel to yourself is the same as being responsible. The endless noise of should. I should be further along. I should be calmer. I should be grateful. I should be better. Your mind has become a crowded party where no one ever leaves. Every memory, every prediction, every worry, every piece of advice is shouting to be heard. And you keep pouring more in. So of course you feel tired. Not just physically tired, but existentially tired. The kind of fatigue that doesn't come from lack of sleep, but from lack of space. Here's the part almost nobody tells you. You don't have an attention problem. You have a capacity problem. Your mind wasn't designed to carry your entire past, your imagined future, your unprocessed emotions, world events, and 10 self-improvement plans simultaneously. It's like trying to run 100 apps at once on an old phone, and then wondering why it overheats and crashes. We call it anxiety, overthinking, burnout, but sometimes it's simply this: the cup is full. So what does emptying the mind actually mean? It doesn't mean becoming blank, stupid, or apathetic. It doesn't mean never thinking again. It means something far more subversive. choosing what doesn't get to live rent-free in your head anymore. You watch the worry arise. What if I fail? You feel the familiar surge of panic, the instinct to spin scenarios, to plan, to defend. But this time, you take a breath and say, very quietly inside, not now. Think of your attention as sacred real estate. Every thought that enters demands a little energy, a little emotion, a little piece of you. Most of the time, you don't even choose who gets in. The door is wide open. Social media walks in. Old shame walks in. Other people's opinions walk in. Worst-case scenarios walk in. Emptying your mind begins when you become a ruthless landlord. Not everyone gets a room. Imagine just for a moment that you could press pause on the endless incoming stream. No new tips, no new content, no new self-judgment, nothing to add. Just you, sitting quietly with the mess that's already there. At first, it's uncomfortable. Silence always is. Without distraction, you can suddenly hear how loud the inner noise truly is. But if you stay with it, something interesting happens. You start to notice patterns. You realize that the same 5 or 6 worries appear over and over in different costumes. You see that a huge portion of your mental space is occupied by things you cannot control. Other people's reactions, distant futures, imagined catastrophes. A lot of your thoughts aren't really yours. They're just echoes of what others have said that you picked up without even thinking about it. And in that awareness, a question emerges. What if I don't have to think everything that appears? You're so used to believing that if a thought shows up, you must follow it. Argue with it, fix it, wrestle with it. But you don't chase every stranger you see on the street. Why chase every thought? Emptying your mind is not about forcefully pushing thoughts away. That usually makes them louder. It's about refusing to feed them. You let the thought pass like a car, driving by your house at night. You hear it. You know it's there. But you don't run outside and climb into the passenger seat. One thought passes. Then another. At first, nothing miraculous happens. You still feel restless. The old thoughts return, knocking louder. But with each refusal to chase them, something subtle shifts. The room begins to clear. A little more space, a little less clutter. You may even notice a strange, unfamiliar sensation beneath all the noise you've been living with for years. A kind of stillness that doesn't feel dead or empty, but alive. It was there the whole time, hidden under all the mental furniture you kept dragging in. Not dramatic, not spectacular, just quietly present, deep, spacious. You don't create that stillness. You uncover it. Emptying the mind isn't adding peace. It's removing everything that isn't. So tonight, when the world goes quiet, but your mind keeps screaming, remember the overflowing cup. Ask yourself, honestly, what am I still pouring into my mind that I no longer want to drink? Whose voice am I carrying that no longer belongs in my head? And most importantly, if I truly believed that my attention is sacred, what would I finally be willing to let go of? So now the question is yours to answer. If your mind is the overflowing cup, what are you finally ready to pour out? Tell me in the comments. What is one thought, one story, or one fear you're willing to stop feeding after watching this? If this spoke to you, take a second to like the video. It tells the algorithm more people need to hear this. If you know someone whose mind never switches off, share this with them. You might be the reason they finally find a little space. And if you want more deep dives into the psychology and philosophy of the mind, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next.